यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन
यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन
यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन
यमुनतीरावनचारी
यमुनतीरावनचारि
यमुनतीरावनचारी
यमुनतीरावनचारि
जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा
Jai
माधव जय कुञ्ज
Bihari.
बिहारी
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
Krishna, Hare Hare,
हरे राम
Hare
हरे
Rama, Hare
राम
Rama,
राम
Rama
राम
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा
जय
Jai
प्रभुपद
Prabhupada,
जय
Jai
प्रभुपद
Prabhupada,
प्रभुपद जय
Prabhupada,
जय श्री श्री राधा माधव भगवान की जय
Jai
Jai Jai.
But Prabhuji, it is resounding. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
resounding.
that's fine, Mataji. I think it's holy name resounding is good. So we'll be fine. So we just wanted to see how it works. Just everyone together participating. So we'll start with the prayers. Devotees, I'll just share the. Yeah. So devotees, anyone would like to recite the prayers?
ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् Prabhuji, can you go down, Prabhuji? Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganas Raghunatha Vitamta Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakha Vitamcha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपीसा गोपिका कंठ राधा कंठ नमस्तुते तप्त कंचना गौरंगी राधा वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानो सुतदेवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंचकल्पा तरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्री वासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे बैक टू प्रभु हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी धन्य प्रणाम
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all for joining for today's Bhagavad Gita session. We're reading from chapter 12, Devotional Service, verse number 3 and 4. So, we'll recite these verses. ये त्वाक्षरम् अनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपाश्यते Sarvatragam achintyam cha kutastam achalam dhruvam. Sanniyemindriyagramam sarvatra samabuddhayaha te prapnuvanti mam eva sarvabhutahite rataha. Yeah, anyone would like to recite devotees?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Can I try Prabhuji?
Yeah, please.
Hare Krishna devotees, and pranam. All grace to Sri Prabhupada. एत्वक्षरमनिर्देशम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्रागम् अचिन्तं च कूटस्थम् अचलं ध्रुवं सन्नियेन्द्रियग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतैः Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I can try, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
येतामक्षरम् अनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्रगम् अचिन्तं च कुटस्थम् अचलं ध्रुवम् संनियम्य इन्द्रियग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धय ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji. I can try.
Yes, yes Mataji.
येत्वाक्षरम् अनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र अचिन्त्यं च कुटस्थम् अचलं ध्रुवं सनियमेन्द्रियग्रामं सर्वत्र बुधयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone else, devotees? Okay, so we'll go to. Yeah, yes, Mataji.
ये त्वक्षरमनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थमचलं ध्रुवम् सन्नियम्येन्द्रियग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुयन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. I think Raghu Prabhu wanted. Okay, I don't see. Yeah, let's read the translation, synonyms and translation, devotees.
Yeah, okay. Synonyms: A, those who; to, but; aksharam, that which is beyond the perception of the senses; anirdeshyam, indefinite; avyaktam, unmanifested; paryupashate, completely engaged in worshipping; sarvatragam, all pervading; achintyam, inconceivable; cha, also; kuta, stam, unchanging; achalam, immovable; dhruvam, fixed; saniyamya, controlling; indriyagramam, all the senses; sarvatra, everywhere; buddhayaha, equally disposed; they; prapnuvanti, achieve; me; eva, certainly; sarva bhuta hite, for the welfare of all living entities; rataha, engaged. Translation by Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. But those who fully worship the unmanifest, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Raghu Prabhu. Yeah. Anyone would like to read the purport, devotees?
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. May I try Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Abhay Charan Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Purport. Those who don't directly worship the Supreme Godhead, Krishna, but who attempt to achieve the game goal by an indirect process also ultimately achieve the goal. Sri Krishna, after many births, the man of wisdom seeks refuge in me, knowing that Vasudeva is all. When a person comes to full knowledge after many births, he surrenders unto Krishna. If one approaches the Godhead by the method mentioned in the verse, he has to control the senses, render service to everyone, and engage in the welfare of all beings. It is inferred that one has to approach Lord Krishna. Otherwise, there is no perfect realization. Often, there is much penance involved before one fully surrenders onto him. Shall I continue, Prabhuji?
Let's see if anyone else would like to read.
Okay,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Devotees, anyone else like to read the second paragraph?
I can read, Prabhuji. Anybody else would like to read? No one, I can read. In order to perceive the super soul within the individual soul, one has to cease the sensual activities of seeing, hearing, tasting, working, etc. Then one comes to understand that the Supreme Soul is present everywhere. Realizing this, one envies no living entity. He sees no difference between man and animal because he sees soul only, not the outer covering. But for the common man, this method of impersonal realization is very difficult. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thank you, Subal Prabhuji. Any thoughts you would like to share, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, yes, Prabhuji, wonderful verse. It's also, I think, one of the important verse Prabhupada always quotes. So you can see that, those who worship unmanifested, will also reach Krishna eventually and surrender, but not in a direct way. So characteristics of impersonal conception of absolute truth, unmanifested, right? They're beyond the sense perception, and we can know that all pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, immovable. So how to worship the unmanifested is by controlling various senses, by being equally disposed to everyone, by engaging in the welfare of all, and difficult for a common man. So as we can see in this Kali Yuga, or in fact any Yuga, it is very difficult for us to control our senses. Arjuna says, I can control the wind, but I cannot control my own mind. So in this way, we can see that it is very difficult. And even in Bhagavad Gita 5:18, it is said that Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Kaviyastine Suni Chaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samasdarshina. So the humble sages, because they know everything, they can see the super soul everywhere, even in a cow, a brahmana, a elephant, dog eater, everywhere they can see. So in this way, you can see that in order to perceive the super soul within the individual soul, one has to cease the sensual activities of seeing, hearing, tasting. So then one comes to understand that the super soul Krishna is present everywhere, realizing. So, of course, for us, it is very difficult to see in everyone. But and slowly, with all the association of devotees and the Navadvita Bhakti, the 9 stages of Bhakti, we can easily, reach to that level. as a Pandita Samadarshana. We can be at that time we'll be able to see the Super Soul Krishna even in a dog's a body, cow, or ant also. So right now it is very difficult for us. That's my understanding, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you very much, Subal Prabhuji. Sham Prabhuji for reading purport. So very nicely explained. Also, you mentioned the verse Pandita Samadarshinaha. So it's a very unique verse. Generally, we keep the Brahmana in a very elevated state, right? Brahmana is supposed to be on the mode of goodness. But in this verse, if you look at it, Brahmana, dog, elephant, dog eater. So, like from Brahmana to dog eater, like all kinds of categories are mentioned. So it's and Krishna really thought about it and like gave some examples. Um, the equal vision of seeing when we see a Brahmana and a dog eater, we obviously don't see like that. So it's very difficult to see like that. But a learned person who doesn't see outwardly, who sees inwardly, for him, he is basically just seeing super soul within everyone. But his activities is when we deal with Brahmana differently, we deal with elephant differently. That is practicality. But at least the vision has to be that equal vision, right? So that is a nice verse. So in this chapter, devotees, it is titled as Devotional Service. So this chapter is actually Krishna gives several beauties about devotional service, several secrets about devotional service. So Arjuna is, the Arjuna, it starts with Arjuna asking one question, like, so even in third chapter, Arjuna asks one question, Krishna, why you're engaging me in this ghastly warfare? If you think knowledge is more important, if you think that jnana is more important, I would just go to forest and cultivate jnana. Why should I have to engage in this warfare where there is bloodshed and so much ghastliness? What am I going to get out of it? What you're saying is jnana is important. But at that time, Krishna gave summary of the whole Bhagavad Gita in second chapter. So then Arjuna asks, what is the need for this warfare? Then Krishna explains what is the importance of karma itself, specifically the karma yoga. So what Arjuna was doing is karma yoga, right? So he was not a brahmana, he was a kshatriya, and he was actually on the war field, he was fighting. So is what he was doing is Krishna karma, not just karma. He was doing Krishna karma on behalf of Krishna, Nishkama karma yoga, without anything for himself. He wants to put in the hands of Krishna, whatever you want, I'll do it. It's very difficult position to take. So in this chapter, Arjuna is asking one specific question now. After hearing the whole Bhagavad Gita until chapter 11, now Arjuna wants to even expand on the process of bhakti and process of the whole the topics of Bhagavad Gita. So he's asking, which is actually perfect? Who is perfect? A person who is engaged in your personal aspect of devotional service, engaged in worshiping, you personally, like your form, the personal aspect, or someone who is worshipping the impersonal Brahman. So he uses that word in the verse number 1, Aksharam Avyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vittamaha. So this is again in this verse also Krishna is repeating that Aksharam Avyaktam, right? So Aksharam is something which is beyond our sense perception. So what is beyond our sense perception? There's so many things which are beyond our sense perception. In this material world, even doctors knows that bacteria we cannot see. We can only see through microscope. We need some instruments. We can only in the next room I cannot see what is going on. I can only hear, right? So when my vision doesn't work, I have to use some other senses to perceive what is going on. Right? So there are so many things in this universe which is beyond the sense perception, and those or in the material world we kind of discovered or manufactured so many instruments in order to go beyond the sense perception, like the telescope and the microscope. Even there are instruments to hear sounds which cannot be heard by human beings. So these instruments can hear sounds which are only heard by dogs. If you go to houses, they have that dog, in the tag, they've just put some instruments which can produce sounds which the dog can hear. That's why they say that when Yamaraj comes, when Yamaraj actually takes away the soul from a particular body, the dogs actually can perceive it. Our senses cannot perceive, but the animals, they have special kind of senses they can perceive. Even eagles, they fly very top, but they can see on the ground which animals, if there is some movement, they can easily see very sharply. So in the Ramayana also we have this, right? The brother of Jatayu, he was on the shore of Lanka. He was actually giving the message, yeah, Lanka actually, the Ravana took Mother Sita in this direction. So like that, they have special senses which the human being does not. So this word aksharam means exactly that. So and then avyaktam is unmanifested. So the word unmanifested is basically, if this whole human body is in a manifested state, right? We have like a form, we have a face, legs, hands, everything is put together like a robot. It's manifested. When it's disintegrated into the earth, it becomes like a dust. There is no bones, there is no face. It's just energy. It's just energy transformed from one form to another form. So it's manifested state and unmanifested state. So the bhutva bhutva praliyate, like Krishna says that this whole universe basically is again manifested, again unmanifested. So in the second chapter, Krishna actually gives one example, one reason to Arjuna. So Arjuna says, I cannot actually kill, these are my relatives. And Krishna just throws one argument. Right now they are in the manifested state. Again, they'll be unmanifested. They will not be, in these bodies. So what difference does it make, to kill them or, let them live? What difference does it make? Like that, Krishna puts another argument. So, if there is no soul, people just take a form. Again, there is no, the person just merges into the whole creation. Then Krishna just puts that argument, just for the argument's sake, he says to Arjuna. So like that, the unmanifested means there is no form, it's just energy is just merged into, again, the whole cosmic manifestation. So like that, Arjuna asking one specific question, which is great, which is actually superior. Devotional service to the personal form of the Lord, or to the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested. So this whole chapter, Krishna just focuses on the bhakti, the devotional service to the Krishna's personal form. And then initial verses, now Krishna is just establishing that fact, and then Krishna will deep dive into the Bhakti Yoga part. So in this verse number 3 and 4, now Krishna is answering Arjuna's question. So now he started answering Arjuna's question. So he's elaborating why it is difficult, but as a summary, as a essence, Krishna is saying it is those who worship the unmanifested, they also at the end, they also achieve Mam Eva, they also come to me only. After actually performing all the welfare activities, at the end they will come to me only. But then in the next verse, Krishna will elaborate why it is very difficult. So we'll just see some properties of what this Brahman, the Brahman properties of Brahman. So Aksharam, Anirdesyam, Avyaktam, and then Sarvatragam, Achintyam. So these are the properties of the Brahman. So Aksharam, this we already discussed, this is beyond our senses. So even Lord is actually beyond our senses also. Krishna's form is also beyond our senses. But then there is something that we can focus on. So when there is a form, Krishna's form, we can say, Kastuba Mani, Pattu Pitambara, he has Kundala, he has peacock feather, he has the Lord has the Shama Shundra form, ribbon, lotus, his lotus feet, the marks, flute. There's so many things that we can actually just think. But when there is something unmanifested, how will you even contemplate what is what actually can you bring it in your thought, right? Just think about for a second. Like you have to be really, really focused. That's why, like one of my managers, he also told me that he's meditating, and I asked him what kind of meditation. He said, "I'm just 30 minutes. I'm just observing my breathing." So, and he acknowledged, he actually said, I told him that we do mantra meditation, we do chanting. So, Hare Krishna mantra, it's easy to focus. And he said, actually, I know it is easy. What I'm doing is very difficult, but I want to actually do this because I'm not able to, focus. Or he basically they don't have faith in the Supreme Lord's holy name. They just wanted to get some energy, power, or whatever, deathlessness, whatever they want to achieve. They just wanted to focus on the unmanifested. They think the Lord is energy. For them, the Lord is energy. He's everywhere. And they want to just focus on that energy, breathing. But different people have different conceptions. But that here, what Krishna is saying, the Brahman is even they are actually on the higher conception. Those who are understand the Brahman, they actually understand that the certain features of the Lord, that the Lord is present everywhere, and then they all pervading. They understand that part, and they also understand that the Lord and all the jivas are eternal. They don't. There is only death for the body, and soul there is no death. So those who are impersonal worshippers, they also understand the Lord is all pervading. The jiva is also all pervading. Jiva is eternal. They don't have that distinction between Lord and the jiva. They think Lord is energy which is distributed everywhere, and avyaktam, unmanifested. So he doesn't have a particular form. He is always energy, everywhere distributed, and aksharam, that is just beyond the perception of senses. So there is one verse that describes how actually devotees get that were able to perceive the Lord. Even Lord Krishna, he is also beyond the perception of senses. The holy name is beyond the perception of senses. But when the Rupa Goswami says that Atas Sri Krishna Namadi Nabhavat Grayam Indriyaha Sevan Mukhi hi Jivado Swayam Eva Swarati Adaha. So he says that Atas Sri Krishna Nama Adi. So the Lord Krishna's name, beginning from his name, when we start chanting, Jiva means the tongue. So when we start chanting the Krishna's name using the tongue, that which is beyond the senses, beyond the perception of senses, is actually realized because of that effort that we put. Atas Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavat grayam indriyaha sevan mukhihi jivvado. So we start worshipping Krishna through the tongue, by using our tongue, by using the tongue in the service of the Lord. And then it says this Atas Sri Krishna Namadi sevan mukhihi jivvado swayam eva spurati adaha. So Swayameva means the Lord Himself sees that we are trying to understand Him through the senses. So He Himself gives that manifest revelation, right? He reveals within our heart, He actually reveals, yes, this is my name, I am like this. So everything is revealed. So, but that effort, just like Mother Yashoda is putting the effort and Krishna is giving mercy. So the bhakti is all about we try to put our efforts, not something unmanifested, not something, very specific. Like Krishna used to say, like Prabhupada used to say one time in the lectures, he says, I know the name of the Lord, I know his father's name, I know his mother's name, I know where he is born, I know his friends, I know his, everything he was saying like that. So there is no scope of thinking, okay, Lord is everywhere, he doesn't have a form. basically everything, you like very difficult to focus. But if you know exactly, we say Nanda Nandana, Yashoda Nandana, we say Radha Krishna, we know everything like about Lord Krishna, and we know Lord Krishna is Supreme Lord. It's very easy to focus. And we are not just blindly accepting, we are accepting because all the acharyas have accepted, all the great acharyas like scientists, they've analyzed and they've accepted. And it's the easy path. And Krishna himself is actually elaborating in this chapter. So, and then the another aspect of the Brahman is kutastam, unchanging. So the Brahman is always it just the soul basically is unchanging, right? It's everlasting, unchanging, immovable. The same principles applies to Brahman also. So Brahman is everywhere and the soul is also everywhere. And it's another aspect is dhruvam, fixed. So these are the qualities of the unmanifested Brahman. So if somebody has to focus on this unmanifested Brahman, they have to have some basic discipline in order to focus. The basic discipline is their senses should be at least in a very controlled state so they can actually able to focus. If so, that's why Prabhupada, or in the purport, Prabhupada explains that it's very difficult for a person to focus, a common man, for the impersonal realization. So another aspect we should understand here is Krishna says Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha. So the Sarva Bhuta means all living entities. Hite Rataha means welfare activities. If you go to many places, there are a lot of people who do welfare activities. They don't have a personal conception of the Supreme Lord, but they open hospitals. They are really good people. They have a good tendency to help people. They care about helping people, right? So all those people who are in the unmanifested, who are worshipping the unmanifested Brahman, who are very very compassionate to people, and they wanted to help, so they are all in the journey of Krishna consciousness. But it might take many many lifetimes for them to come to the surrender to the personal conception of the Lord, but then they are still on the path. So that's why Krishna says Mam eva, like they will also come to me, prapnuvanti. They will achieve Krishna at the end, certainly. So this word eva means certainly, these are all good people, but then the Vaishnavas, or those who are in the personal bhakti process, they are able to relish this sweetness. This most the exchange of love between the Lord. This is the sweetness that is the secret of the whole bhakti process. So Krishna even explains in the chapter later on. He says that how devotees parasparam, they exchange, they discuss the pastimes, the glories of me, and then they actually they have so much bliss, enlightenment, and so much bliss. So the impersonal conception, those who are in the impersonal conception, they don't have such bliss. They don't have such kind of, all they do is to liberate themselves from the material platform, basically to elevate themselves above the three modes of nature. So and then Krishna, in the Prabhupada here, is quoting that one particular verse, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapatyante Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabhaha. So basically, all these people who are doing impersonal conception of the absolute truth, they will, after many many births, they will also understand that Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Lord Krishna, is actually the cause of all causes. They will come to that point, and then they will also come to the path of bhakti process. So that is the basically the conclusion of Krishna and Prabhupada's conclusion also. Um, so here these properties, we see that there are a lot of impersonal worshippers, especially the whole Western world is basically Nirvisesa Shunyavadi, right? So Prabhupada's Pranam mantra itself says Nirvisesa Shunyavadi. Nirvisesha means impersonal, and Shunyavadi means voidist. Voidus means everything is zero, and nirvishesha means everything is impersonal, like everything is energy. There is no a person who is in control. So these two is present everywhere in the whole Earth planet, and there's only very few people only who understand the personal conception of the Lord, because it's very much confidential, and it also requires one to understand the loving exchanges of the Lord in order to come to that state of consciousness. The whole Christian community, they don't understand that the Lord actually have exchanges between his devotees. The Muslim community, they don't understand. Jewish community, like there's so many, like if you take the entire population of the world, maximum percentage of they are all impersonal conception only. So they don't have any personal conception of the Lord. So for them to come to the understanding that Vasudeva Sarvamiti is going to take many, many births after many, many realizations. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Let's see if there are any discussions on this topic, devotees.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, you very nicely explain about the unmanifested and manifested form, giving the example of the bones and the living entity has all the um, like live uh, parts of the body, but when it's degrades, deteriorates, that time only the dust is there. So that is the unmanifested form. And the same way, Krishna's energy, only to concentrate, focus on Krishna's energy, it's very hard. So that's what Prabhupada is explained in the purport. He mentioned 2 to 3 times in the purport that after many births, so means like it's very hard process to achieve the goal to get the Supreme Lord, because there is no relationship building happening when there is a Brahman realization by the devotees. And also, Prabhuji, as you mentioned, that loving exchange is not possible. Like when there is energy, no form is present, how the loving exchange will happen? So that's the two the points, Prabhuji. It's very important, and that's what I just would like to mention, Prabhuji, from your discussion.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhashwati Mataji. So when Lord actually appears in front of Mother Devaki, and that time when he appears in the four-handed form, Prabhupada mentions in the purport saying, she actually sees the Lord, and then the Lord understands, I wanted you as a child, now you're showing darshan as a Narayana form. How would I actually exchange my feelings and emotion? And then Lord actually transforms into a baby. So the mother and child relationship cannot be had with the Lord in the Narayan form. So like that, in the Vishwarupa form, universal form, you cannot decorate the Lord with all the jewels, and you cannot dress with beautiful paraphernalia. So the devotees wants to have that loving exchanges. So the Lord is very kind to come in that form. That is his actually original potency. We think the other way around. We think actually the Lord is very powerful, and he doesn't actually care about the exchanges with the pure the creations of his jivas. But it's actually the other way around. He actually gives more importance to the exchanges, and then he cares less about the energy, which is very beautiful. Which is what is perplexing for a lot of people. Even in if you look at the lot of these animation and movies, they always try to put uh, the hero. They kind of bring him in like a very humble state. Like they bring him in the very low background, and then they project him. So, and then they showcase that the hero always is not caring about the richness or opulence. He always cares about the love. So where does this idea come from? Everything comes from the Lord, actually, right? So he's the source of everything. So even that idea of projecting the hero as someone who is caring about the relationship, not caring about the opulence, that also comes from Krishna. Basically, that is the original nature of the Lord. So
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for explaining so nicely. Hare Krishna.
thank you, Vashwati Mataji, for sharing. Devotees, anyone else would like to share, devotees?
Yeah, I just say two things. So you explained everything very well, and so this particular uh, verse talk, shows how difficult actually the impersonal realization is. It is impersonal, but then to realize it, one has to go through a lot of penance, as it is called here. Uh, he has to really control his senses. And to control our senses, we know it's extremely difficult. Uh, so, it directly opposite to that is a personal form where we we use our senses to realize the personal form. So we use our tongue for chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. We use it for tasting the prasadam. So and then we use our ears to hear all the kirtans and so on. So as long as our senses are controlled for the for Krishna consciousness, not for other uses. I mean, there are senses can be used for anything, for a lot of sense gratification and so on. But as long as it's not in that direction, as long as it's in direction of uh, Krishna consciousness, then our senses are controlled, but in a different way. They're controlled, but actually uh, uh, they're easier to control as long as once we get into that kind of flow where we do the chanting and so on. But the impersonal form requires, it's not easy. So especially for a common man, it is extremely difficult because you don't know how you're going to uh, uh, be able to get into all the jnana yoga and all those things. That requires a lot of study and so on. So it's a very difficult path. So I don't know how all the other religions, what they do. Probably they do nothing. But that's my understanding. But basically, yeah, that's what I got from this. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Raghu Prabhu. I think you nailed those points very nicely. So the other religions, they are basically scratching the surface of what is religion and what is devotion. And even in the surface, they find some peace, some solace. But if they deep dive, they can actually enter into the mystics of the devotional service. All the sweetness is deep inside, but they are just looking at the shallow and then they're saying this is what it is. Just peace, peace, peace. So um, thank you, Raghu. Any other thoughts, devotees? I think everyone understood perfectly then.
Yes, Prabhuji,
Any
Prabhuji,
question?
Prabhuji, I have a question. The question is that, Prabhuji, that as here Krishna is saying that to Arjuna, that yes, the impersonalist also can achieve me. So if then the impersonalist may say that okay, that Krishna is saying, so that is the another way of getting Krishna by
Yes. So
so.
being an impersonalist is also a very high platform. So an impersonalist can see that the Lord is in everywhere. So he cannot harm anyone. So the impersonal people are actually very much sincere and um, so an impersonalist cannot even harm living entities. He won't be a basically he cannot have he cannot be a meat eater. Because he understands that the Lord is energy is distributed everywhere, all living entities, so he cannot basically harm anyone. I mean, that is itself is a high quality to have, and he will have good control of his senses. A real impersonalist who's just focusing on the Brahman is actually a higher platform. It's not that easy. So what we see in the other religion is just a shadow of that impersonal conception. I mean, they have some understanding of Brahman, but they don't have full understanding of Brahman. So when they really understand Brahman, they have to come to the state of no meat eating, because they cannot harm any living entities.
So still they need many, many lifetimes to come to the personal form.
Right.
The spiritualist, but still needs many, many lifetimes.
And also they'll be Sarva Bhuta Hiterata. They are doing all welfare activities for all living entities. And that's why Prabhupada used to say that there was one verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. It says that um, even if you go to the Brahmajyoti, you can actually fall down. So I'm forgetting that verse. So this in this verse, Krishna says, because they have not taken the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, Paramapadam, they have not taken the shelter. That is the reason that they will fall down from the Brahmajyoti platform.
Patanti ad anadrito jushmat agraya.
Patanti, right. So they will fall down. So because they don't have any relishment over there. So again, when they come back, what they will do? They will do welfare activities for all the people, and gradually they'll come to the point of understanding Vasudeva Sarvamiti, and they will come to the mystics of the Bhakti Yoga platform. So like that, there are like even the four Kumaras, they were on the personal conception, right? So when they smell the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, Tulsi leaves, then they become personal devotees. So they are on the elevated platform. So but impersonal conception itself has the pure impersonalists are very rare to see in the Kali Yuga. They're all basically Mayavadis, or just fake impersonalists. Really pure impersonalists are very strict. They will actually be they'll take bath 3 times a day, and they will focus on the Omkara, and like there are even now there are a lot of people in India.
So Prabhuji, one senior devotee was explaining that impersonal Brahman is just Chid Akash, Chinmoy Jagat, and the sky is Chid Akash. That is the Brahman. There is a light. So it is in the spiritual world. So they're going to the spiritual world, but in the Brahman, and there is no happiness. But they started thinking, even in the material world, at least I have some happiness. I have a family, I have a house, some kind of party. But where I am now, spiritual world, but no happiness. But as soon as they think that I'm no happy, material world was better, then fall down. He explained that way.
Right. Basically, the happiness that one gets in the impersonal conception is just the drop in the ocean, in the desert. Like in the desert, what is a drop considered to be? It's nothing basically compared to the ocean of bliss. So that's why Rupa Goswami says nectar of devotion. So the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the ocean. There's so much bliss compared to just a drop on the desert, right? So there's so much bliss one can achieve. Like even Lord Sankarsana is basically with his unlimited mouths, he's glorifying the Supreme Lord, and he basically goes on and on. Still, he's not satisfied. He needs unlimited mouths. So there is Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukto Abhinnatvam Nama Namina. So the Nama Chintamani, Krishna's holy name is like the, compared to Chintamani, is Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta, is always liberated. It's fully pure. And anyone who takes to the holy name, and the acharyas explain, they were basically trying to taste it, and now they want more mouths to recite, and then now they have more mouths to recite, then now they want more ears to hear, and then the core of their heart is fully enlightened, and all of their senses is completely enlivened. So like that, they vividly explain what they're feeling. You cannot explain feeling, it has to be experienced. But the acharyas, the Goswamis, they say like, so this is their feeling, right? They want to experience more and more the bliss of the chanting the holy name. So even the Acharya, Namacharya Haridas Thakur also was chanting so many rounds, 192 rounds per day, and um, he was so much observed that when he was tempted with the prostitute, he said, "Okay, wait, I will satisfy your desire, but you please wait." And then he was chanting, chanting, and the next day came, he was chanting. By the time the prostitute got transformed into a devotee, she was like so much holy name from the mouth of a pure devotee, and she was completely attracted to the holy name. And so like being a Vaishnava, he didn't want to reject her proposal. He said, "Okay, I'll satisfy desire." But then her desire got changed. She said, "I want to actually become your disciple and practice Krishna consciousness." And then now Haridas Thakur told her, "Okay, then okay, you want to do that? Okay, go back and distribute all your wealth to Brahmanas, and then come back. Then I will initiate you." So he basically initiated her, and then she stayed in the same place where Haridas Thakur basically left that place, and she stayed in that, close to that kutir where Tulsi Maharani was there, and she was practicing bhakti. So, so at that time, devotees used to chant 64 rounds. It used to take 8 hours. Even Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, his disciples were also chanting 64 rounds, very strict. And they were relishing so much bliss that they were able to do 8 hours a day chanting, right? Otherwise, it's not possible. So even my Guru Maharaj, he does japa retreats every year, 2-3 japa retreats. In the japa retreats, he mentions, "I've been chanting for 40 plus years. If it is something material, I cannot do it. Every day, so many years, how is it possible? Because it's purely spiritual. The more you chant, the more you get bliss and happiness. So this kind of happiness is what is missing on the impersonal conception. This is just one example of Krishna's holy name, and then the pastimes and the activities of Krishna. It's called Nava Yavvanam, like always youth. Krishna is always youth, and Nava Nava. Everything is fresh. Like everything is new and everything is fresh. Like just like fresh, newly blossomed flower, like that. So even though Krishna does his pastimes again and again, every time it's new, every time it's different, every time it's thrilling, like that. So Hare Krishna, devotees. Any other last thoughts anyone would like to share, devotees? Okay, we'll conclude today's session then. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta
Jai.
Koti Vaishnava Vranta ki jai,
Jai.
Grantaraj Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jai.
Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, devotees.
Hare Krishna. Hare Hare Bol.
Sri Krishna
Hare
Prabhu
Krishna.
ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki